Terry Woodhams with Let's Be Artful, and I am a paint party instructor and designer. And this video is part of the Common Canvas collaboration hosted by Jeannie's Palette. Every month we do painting challenges, and we get ideas from members on what challenges we're going to do. And this challenge was my idea this time is the when life gives you lemons. So everybody's going to be doing something to do with lemons. So go check out the playlist to see what the other amazing artists are doing having to do with lemons. Yeah. In my Painting Tracers to Go membership group, I have all the different sizes of canvases in there. I have the 8x8, 8x10. Do I have 9x12? I think there's a 9x... No, I don't normally do 9x12, but if you want any other different sizes, I can always do them for you. 11x14, 9x16, 9x16, no, 12x16, oh my gosh, and the 16x20. I'm gonna let this dry before we start going in with our lemons. So go ahead and go get something to drink, something to eat, or if you don't want to do any of that, if you want to, totally optional. I'm just touching up some sections here. We can do a little bit of texturing in the background. That way it will give this paint around the lemons a little more time to dry. So what you can do if you want to is take a little bit of white, just a little bit, add some of that blue background back on your brush, and add just a little bit of white in there, and then flip-flop your paintbrush in different directions back and forth to give a little bit of just a little bit of a painterly look there. Okay, so if you feel like you accidentally went into your lemons a little bit too much, you can always take a small brush and some white paint and use it like whiteout. Remember that whiteout, that correction tape or correction fluid? And just go ahead and cover up if you went too far into your lemons, like I did here. All right, next I'm going to use a 1/2-inch flat brush, or you can use like a bigger round brush, like maybe like a number 8 round brush, something like this if you prefer. Either one. We're going to start filling in our lemon shapes. Every time you grab a new brush, go ahead and get it wet, dip it into your water, and then dampen that off onto your towel. I'm going in with my yellow paint. My background color is pretty much dry around the edges there, so I don't have to worry about accidentally dragging in some of that blue into my lemon shapes. And I'm just going to fill in all of the lemon shapes with this bright yellow. Next, I'm going to use this darker yellow. This one's a King's Gold. Now I'm going to use my same 1/2 inch flat brush here, but you can use your round brush too. And it's okay if the yellow hasn't dried yet. I'm going to use this darker yellow as a shade to help give these lemon shapes a little bit of dimension. So I am just putting a little bit of that yellow on just the corner here. And I'm starting at the bottom of this whole lemon here. And I'm just outlining this one side. I'm going up and then I'm coming back down. Now I just so happen to already get like an instant shade here. And that's because my yellow is still wet. My base yellow is still wet. So if your yellow already dried, go ahead and put another layer of that bright yellow on there and then add your darker yellow right on top before it has completely dried. And this is why I like to use this half brush, because this helps it helps shade it. And so you can go back and forth to kind of blend in, give it a little bit of a ombre from dark yellow to light yellow there. Then I'm going to switch to a smaller round brush. And I'm going to use that same dark yellow. And I'm going to make some little dots here. And then I'm going to, in these little sections here, I'm going to start at the little corner and I'm going to flick out a few quick strokes, at least 2. And quicker the better if you can flick it out. Going out to the edge, going out to the rind. So here's the rind of the lemon. So I'm going out, but I'm not going all the way to the edge. Maybe like halfway, 1/3 of the way. Depending on how small your paintbrush is. If you can only get 1 stroke, that's fine. Alright, next I'm going to use a green. So use whatever green you have. I'm using a Spring Green by Apple Barrel. And I'm using a little bit bigger round brush. This one happens to be a number 5, I think. But a little bit bigger round brush than your smallest round brush. And I'm going to fill in the leaves. I like to start from the base of the leaf and go out to the point. Up to you if you want to paint all of these leaves green or leave some of them to be like a turquoise or a darker green. Up to you. All right, now I'm going to add some white into my lemons. So use one of your smaller round brushes, either your smallest round brush or your next round brush size up, whatever seems appropriate to the size painting you're doing. I think I'm going to use my number 5 round here. But if I feel like it, I can always go back to my smallest round brush. I'm going to go over these lines Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going in between the sections. So I'm outlining my pencil lines here of these sections, but making sure that there's the white also is in between these sections, but not all the way to the end, because I want to keep yellow for the rind here. All right, I'm going to go back to my leaves. I'm going to switch to my smaller round brush. You can keep that same bigger round brush if you want to. And I'm going to, with my green leaves, you don't have to, this is optional. I'm going to make these little swipes on one side, more like the bottom side of each green leaf. And you can go right on the edge, or you can go just inside the leaf. Start at the base of the leaf and then go towards the end. It doesn't have to go all the way to the end, but go towards the end. The tip of the leaf is what I meant to say. Okay, next I'm going to add some tiny little flowers. And you don't have to do this either. I'm going to use my, kind of like my medium-sized round brush here, my number 5. It could be a number 5 or like a number 6. And this is how I like to make my little tiny flowers. Let me make sure you can see this. Okay, so I kind of like to think of this like a little gingerbread man. So I have plenty of white on my brush, and the tip of my brush is going to be the tip of the flower petal. And I'm going to, holding my paintbrush not perpendicular to your canvas, but at a steep angle. And I'm going to just touch down, and I might pull down just a tiny, tiny bit. There's the gingerbread man's head. Kind of a bad example, but hopefully you understand what I mean. Now my little gingerbread's going to have some arms that are going up like he's doing a jumping jack. And I'm going to go out to an angle, press down. You may or may not have to pull in. There's one arm. Now I want to angle the other direction. Press down. There's his arms. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to make his legs. So the tip of my brush is the tip of the petal. Just pressing down. I might need to go get some more paint. More paint. And then the other side. Just press down. All right, hopefully that made sense. That's one way you can make little flowers. So I'm going to take some dark pink. I'm using a Diva pink here, but you can use like a magenta color, any kind of a darker pink, or any other color if you like. And I'm going to take the back of my paintbrush. Let's see here. I have a favorite paintbrush that makes really good dots. It's one of my smaller wooden ones. And it has a flat bottom to it, but you can use any. And I'm just going to make some random dots wherever I feel like it could use one. Okay, so these little flowers here, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to the centers. Some of them might be wet still, so you might want to let that dry. I'm going to be impatient here and just go ahead and add a little bit of yellow to the centers. I'm just using a small brush. And all you have to do is add a little dot to the middles. All right, so now I'm doing my highlights. So I'm using my smallest round brush here. And I'm going to do some highlights in the leaves. And you can do them on all the leaves or just some of the leaves. I'm going to start with the green leaves. And just like how I did the darker line with the turquoise on all the green leaves, I'm going to do a quick stroke on the opposite side. And it doesn't have to be right on the edge. It can be just inside that leaf, but more on the top end. And this is going to be kind of like an implied highlight. And if you want to, you can do your darker leaves too. I think I'll do this side. Doesn't really matter what side, just pick a side and try to keep it all the same on all the leaves. And then the lemon right here needs a little highlight kind of on the top here. So I'm going to start at the top and then I'm going to pull down. And I'm going to try to be quick doing that. And that's just inside the edge here. Not in the middle, but right up here at the top. Not right on the edge, but just inside. And I curved it, imitating the edge of that lemon shape there. All right, and we are done. If you can think of anything else to jazz this up, like maybe some gold or yellow glitter glue or glitter paint, or even like an iridescent glitter, that would look really pretty on here too. Maybe just add a few stripes in the lemons, maybe inside the little lemon segments here. That would look really pretty. Kind of give it that that wet look maybe. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the other videos in the When Life Gives You Lemons playlist by A Common Canvas collaboration, and let's see what else the ladies have for us. All right, have a good day. Bye.